Okay, right. So let's start by asking you, what do you think about your swimming? How do you think? How do you think you're getting on? What do you think's holding you back?
Oh, everything.
Okay.
I know this arm
Mm-hmm.
goes down when I breathe. I know I'm not breathing to the side properly.
Okay.
I know I'm coming too far away. Most likely to be pushing.
Mm-hmm.
See, at the minute, I'm just really chuffed I get to the end.
Yeah.
That
Well, you've
was
made
huge
progress.
I mean, when you first said to me,
Yeah.
come and join in, I was like, I can do a full level, 20-minute full level gym.
Yeah.
And you said, that's all right, just press at the end that you come into.
Yeah.
So within 2 classes, I was getting to the end.
Yeah.
So
So you've
that's
made
an
a huge amount
achievement.
of progress already. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, that wasn't a loaded question. I was just
No.
asking you because it's always interesting to see what your own kind of perspective on things it is. Sometimes people say it's one thing, and actual fact they're completely way off, and it's something else.
It's a whole lot. I know it's a whole lot, but because it's completely new to me.
Yeah. Okay. Do you know about the swim types, swim smooth swim types?
I know there was a kick tap kick.
Yeah. What do you think you are?
Well, I think my kicking slowed down.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be just kick.
Yeah.
Oh my God, look at that hand.
We'll have a look at this in a second. But
I don't know.
I'd say you're a bambino.
A bambino, right?
Okay.
Complete beginner.
So no, it's not necessarily the way it works. It's just the way different people who go through developmental stages come at swimming from different areas, different directions, if you like. Bambinos generally have a little bit. They don't have much in their stroke, so not much propulsion, which means that you kind of slow down, you lose momentum, and that kind of it becomes a little bit of a spiral in terms of because you haven't got much momentum, you have to lift your head up high to breathe because you're starting to sink in the water. So it's a kind of a combination of things that we need to look at. Now, when we're looking at stroke correction, always start by looking at the kind of breathing and the head position, particularly the breathing. Okay. Do you think you hold your breath at all when you swim?
It's like, I mean, I only started to put my face in the water a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. So it's confidence in water. I have got a lot of confidence, and I think sometimes I'm like, I need to bring my head right out so that I am breathing and not drowning.
Yes, no, absolutely. No, and I totally get that. I mean, what we're saying here straight away is, your head is out of the water quite a long way. Yeah. It's not excessive. Some people are damn sight worse than that, and their heads are actually kind of up in this region here. Yeah. But we can see your full face. Now, there's a number of reasons for that. The first thing I want to look at is whether or not you're holding your breath. So, in fact, if we have a look on the way back. Actually, you can see you exhaling there. I just want to kind of count that out first, if that makes sense. So we're taking a breath there, and we can already see there's bubbles coming out of the mouth and the nose there. Yeah. Okay. So it's actually looking like you're not holding your breath.
No.
You might be holding it a little bit and kind of exhaling a little bit, the bulk of the air towards the end, but you're certainly not holding your breath excessively, if you like. So what we do is look for other reasons for you to lift the head up that high. Now, as I said to you, the bambinos generally have a little bit of a lack of kind of feel for the water at the front of the stroke. So what's actually happening with you is, if we look at when you take a stroke, you rotate, so your arm has entered the water, you rotate, which is fine. Your elbow's a little bit low, but we're not going to worry too much about that right now. But what happens here is what's causing you to lift your head. So the recovering arm comes into the water, pushes down. Okay. So at the moment, there's nothing propelling you forward through the water at all. because there's one arm out of the water. You've got the motion from the stroke that's just finished, but what's actually happening here is, and if you can see, when the arm enters the water, you're pulling all these bubbles down, so the arm is coming down in this direction, and then it starts to push straight down. Okay? When you push down at the front end of the stroke here, that lifts the front of the body up. When you lift the front of the body up, that pushes the legs down. So this kind of almost starts a chain reaction. Okay? So if we just continue to play it through, this is what I really want to show you here. The reason you're lifting your head up here, having to lift your head high, is because that arm is gone.
Yes.
Okay, now if I show you...
Almost looks like I'm trying to reach a flame.
So if I show you John O'Ban Hazel. So John O'Ban Hazel's who Mr. Smooth was based on. Oh, kind of, you've seen the animation, haven't you? We've seen the animation of that. I'll show you that in a second, actually, but you've probably spent some time looking at that already. So if we look at Jono, what he does is not so much what interested in showing you what happens when he's not breathing, but particularly when he breathes. He'll breathe eventually.
Yeah.
Here we go. So his head rotates with his body.
Yeah.
Head rotates with his body. Now, look at his lead arm here. Look at his lead arm. It's out in front. And it's the lead arm there that provides you with the support to breathe. So if you don't have that support there, what happens is everything kind of slips downwards.
Yeah.
And you can see your body
Yeah.
has started to drop down through the water here. You know, if we look at Jono's body position in the water, he's virtually swimming on the surface of the water. Yeah.
Even his legs, even my legs.
Yeah, yeah. So you're kind of dropping down a little bit, and that's because of the deceleration and the lack of support in the stroke. So we need to get you to practice taking a breath and keeping that lead arm high at the front of the stroke. So I know we've done kicking on the side in the squat before, but what we can do today is we can spend much more time focusing in on these drills and making sure you get the body position absolutely right. In the squat environment, sometimes it's difficult to get quite detailed feedback and get you to tweak and adjust, if that makes sense. So, kicking on the side here, with the fins on, so you've got an extra little bit of support and propulsion from the fins. This will allow you to practice turning to breathe, but keeping that lead arm up nice and high. Okay? What it's also going to allow you to do is to focus on taking the breath, turning your head back into the water, and we look at constant exhalation, so you can focus on breathing out as well. I won't get you to do two things at the same time, but it's something that we can kind of progress onto. So turn to breathe, keep that lead arm high, head back in the water, nice and relaxed. We'll progress that onto 616. So again, keep the lead arm high, take a stroke. You watch, he breathes immediately after the stroke. So he takes a breath, lead arm stays high, takes a breath, and his head's back in the water. Now, what we're also doing when we start to do 616 is we're focusing on spearing in nice and straight and keeping everything straight in alignment in the water. Okay? Because if we look at you from above, yeah, this is well, all your legs are doing is balancing the front end. So if we can sort out the front end of the stroke and give you a bit more support at the front of the stroke, it will reduce this kicking of the legs apart. You're over rotating, but again, that's because you're losing support at the front of the stroke. Okay. When I say over rotating, you should be kind of 45 degrees in the water. Okay. So again, if we look at Jono, he's rotating to around about 45 degrees where he takes a stroke. Okay. You're probably right way over, more like 90 at that point in time. So, and when I talk about support at the front of the stroke, we have what we call front quadrant swimming. So you should always have a lead arm in front of the head. There should always be something there. Sorry, not a lead arm. There should always be a hand, an arm in front of the stroke. Either providing you with the support, starting with catching the full curve of the stroke. Okay. So again, if we look at, if we draw a line in a similar position, you can see there's a hand there, and as the recovering arm comes over, before that hand disappears, the other arm enters the water. Okay. So, keeping on the side, spearing in, staying straight, because if we play this through, what you're doing is you look at the direction that your arms are coming in, they're heading over that direction. So rather than, we show it slow pull down the stroke here, rather than the elbow coming up high, you watch his hand spears in front of his shoulder and stays in front of his shoulder. So everything should be spearing in and going in the direction of travel. So almost as though you're on rails. Oops, didn't do that very well. We want everything to be going in the direction that we're going to take my fly. Okay. So again, this arm swinging around to those lines of action. And coming in with a big bend in the arm. And there we go, there's a loss of support again. So, there's quite a few things. There's quite a few things we can tidy up on the stroke, but a lot of them are linked to the same issue. Okay, they're linked to this lack of support at the front of the stroke, and as a result, you don't have much kind of rhythm and timing because you can't, because you're just slipping through the water. Once we can get you straightened up, we can start to increase the stroke rate, we start to fine-tune the quality of the stroke, but we've got to get this number one issue sorted out. So if you have a look at these drills, you can see how progressing from 616, and again obviously I'll go through these in the call with you.
I was just getting a bit confused. What?
And then 636. 1, and then we start to see how it starts to build up to a full stroke. Spend a lot of time focusing in on this. And what is also good for you, which I know we've tried in the squads as well, do you know what's coming here? We've got it to It's in here actually. I've got it in here. Is the batten, swimming with the batten. Yeah, yeah. But what we can, yeah, because you're not used to leaving that lead arm.
So that's like triathlon.
I don't think we've got that. We've got the batten in here, but we've practiced it. We've practiced in the squad before. But in effect, all we're doing is 6-1-6. So swapping hands at the front of the stroke, but making sure we swap the baton from hand to hand. So you have to leave that hand there, and you can see. Obviously, we've been through this in the squad, but you can see the reason that we're trying to get you to leave that lead arm, because it all kind of stems back to this problem here. Depending on how the time goes, I might have a look at your kick. So just to tune up your kick. Actually, doesn't look too bad actually. You've got a nice little rhythm to your kick there. The legs are splitting a little bit because of what's happening at the front.
Yeah.
But you do a little bit of kick work, but in reality, your kick isn't too bad.
I mean, it used to be like 10 to the dozen. I think that's why I couldn't get to the end, because I was so out of breath.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like I was trying to sprint in the water.
Yeah.
And it did take me a long time to slow them down. But
We'll have a little tweak of your once we've taken you through the alignment drills and given you a bit more support. We'll start tweaking away with your stroke rate as well, similar to what we've done with Tim today actually. Because ultimately your propulsion comes from a combination of your catch and pull through, a good quality catch and pull through, but also your turnover. If you've got the best catch and pull through in the world, but a very slow stroke rate, you're not going to go very fast. And you naturally, because of the nature of the way you swim at the moment, have a fairly slow stroke rate. Although saying that, I think you're putting quite a lot of effort in. It's a little bit faster than you are sometimes on a sea.
that's because it's 6 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, so I think that's pretty much all we need to cover for now. We just spent some really good time getting focused in on that. What I'm going to do is, after the session, I'll send you an email through detailing everything that we've covered, so links to all the drills. Obviously, we'll go through them today anyway. And I'll send you through a guide on the Swim Smooth app to the Bambino kind of stroke correction guide. And it's just something that you can follow through. I know you go through the squad anyway, but it's nice for you to read through it and watch the videos and things. So, got any questions or anything?
No. I know that I didn't realise it was that bad.
It always looks worse in video. It always looks worse in video.
But you know, like even sometimes when I think I am trying to, I'm just obviously just not getting the whole, timing of it right.
Yeah. That will come. That will come.
I suppose I'll just get the feel for it and it'll just.
Absolutely.
But yeah, you're right. It's like I really need to get that right before I even think about anything else.
Yeah, similar to what we've just done with Tim. Let's work on 1 or 2 key issues, get those nailed, and then we progress on. Because what will happen is your stroke will evolve, and some of the issues that are there now may actually be kind of wiped out or reduced to a point. And we'll look at something else instead next time around, if that makes sense. So, all right, well, let me just stop this.